7, it's lovely to see you again. Well, you can see me, I can't see you, but I'm sure it is lovely for you. Anyway, so this is how we're going to do our history lessons for the rest of this term. So I'll be setting you the lessons on Shimmer homework just like Mrs. Singleton was doing, but I will also film a little video so I can chat to you about history as well, and it will hopefully feel like I'm there with you doing our lesson. So today in your lesson you have 2 options. The first one is to do about Elizabeth and Mary Queen of Scots, which is what I'm going to talk to you about. And the second option is about Elizabeth and the Spanish Armada, which has a whole other video to watch, so I'm not going to go into that one today. So here we go then, let's do Mary Queen of Scots. So Mary Queen of Scots was Elizabeth I's cousin, and she was Queen of Scotland. Clue is in the name there. Mary Queen of Scots is Queen of Scotland, and she was involved in an unfortunate incident. Her second husband, Lord Darnley, died in suspicious circumstances. He was murdered, basically, and people were sure that Mary was involved in some way. Very quickly afterwards, she was married again to another man who was also believed to be involved in her second husband's murder. So just to be clear, she's on husband number 3 now. She has also got an heir. She has a son called James, who would go on to be King of Scotland, and James I of England when Elizabeth dies. So she's in a pretty secure position, Queen of Scotland, and she's got a male heir, which we know is very important. So when it's implied that she's involved in the murder of her husband, things start to go a bit downhill. The Scottish people are very angry about this for some crazy reason. Obviously they'd be angry about that. And so she flees to England to ask her cousin for help. In Scotland there's protests and riots going on, and Elizabeth's like, oh God, I'm getting out of here, let's go ask Liz for some help. So she goes down to England. Now this causes a problem for Elizabeth. Mary is Catholic, Elizabeth is Protestant, and there are lots of people in England still who are anti-Protestant, and they believe that Mary should be queen. Not only because she's Catholic, but also Elizabeth's parents, so Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, the Catholics believe were not officially married due to Henry's first wife. He hadn't actually got divorced from her yet when they got married. So they see Elizabeth as not being the rightful queen. So by Mary coming down to England, all the Catholics are like, oh, Mary's here. Oh, maybe she's going to take the throne. That sounds like a great idea. So all the Catholics are like getting excited, and they're like, oh, are we going to have a Catholic queen? That'd be great. And Elizabeth's like, oh God, this doesn't look too good for me. And so she's very concerned when Mary comes rushing down from Scotland. So she has a couple of options here. She could, number 1, be like, no thanks mate, I don't want to deal with your rubbish today. Off you go back to Scotland, love. She could send her back to Scotland, where she would probably be put on trial and potentially executed. She could kill her herself, which isn't the best thing to do. You don't go killing your cousins, do you? But also, remember, Mary's a queen as well. If a queen kills a queen, then it might give other people ideas that actually it's okay to kill a queen, and you know she's got some angry Catholics in the background who might decide to, you know, kill her instead. So that's not a great option either. She has a third option. So Mary has a lot of family in France, and she thought she could send her abroad, you know, get rid of the problem, send her to France to go and live there, to escape the angry Scottish, keep England away from Catholics trying to overthrow Elizabeth, and, you know, her just trot off to France. However, that was an issue in itself because they thought that the French might believe that Mary had entitled to the throne as well and rise against the English. So it's all looking very complicated. So Elizabeth's solution was to hold her in England under house arrest, basically. She wasn't, thrown in a dungeon in the Tower of London. It wasn't as extreme as that. She was living in pretty good houses, nice nobles' houses, living in comfort for quite a few years. But all the while these kind of Catholic issues are going on, and it's really coming to a head now. Elizabeth still hasn't really done anything with Mary. She's just kept her in prison all this time. Well, prison, you know, I doubt many prisons have such lovely food and furniture and living rooms and entertainment. But anyway, so eventually what happens is Elizabeth is forced to sign Mary's death warrant. And lots of people in the country were calling for this. They were under a lot of pressure to do so. And Elizabeth claimed she didn't know what she was signing. She didn't know that it would execute Mary. But it does. And Mary Queen of Scots was executed by her cousin Queen Elizabeth. So that's what you're going to do today if you decide to do that task on Mary Queen of Scots. I've also got some sheets on Show My Homework to help you, but hopefully that explains things a little bit more clearly and you felt like we were in room 13 having our fun history lesson. So I will see you next week in another video, and send me a comment on Show My Homework if you are stuck with anything. Bye!